everybody, welcome to another episode of the Friday Front Bar here at the magnificent All Nations Hotel. Thanks to the beautiful brewery fresh Carlton Draft, Sam Pang, Mickey Malloy and Andy Marr.
What a week.
Well, speaking of weeks, what about the leaks in the weeks?
It's terrible. Where does it end and where does it start? The AFL leaking like a sieve, the Essendon Football Club,
the Australian cricket team,
WADA, and then it happened to us right here. The leaks have begun. Friday Front Bar. Have you seen some of this? This is stuff that's out there in the public domain.
Is it actually, there are official leaks, are there?
And it has to be coming from inside. I'm trying to wonder who it could possibly be. We'll get to that later.
Well, what sort of stuff's coming out?
Well, some of this stuff, which I thought was completely in-house. Andy is dressed by the Brotherhood of St Lawrence. I mean, how does something like that get out? That's my question to you.
That can be very damaging.
Sam Pang is a natural blonde. I mean, Mick Malloy goes off like a firecracker in the sack. I mean, who is leaking this stuff?
I've got a couple here.
That's it.
The Friday Front Bar shooting schedule was moved several times to fit in with Mick Malloy's Pilates club. And finally, Malloy and Pang are frequently annoyed with Marr's continued use of Old English, with Pang and Marr almost coming to blows recently after Marr's use of the word bunkum.
Bunkum. Never mention bunkum on this show again.
It gets out.
Anyway, so that's devastating to this show, and we've got to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, we've got to make sure that we're a harmonious outfit. Did you hear the story during the week?
I was there. I was at the ground. This was last week.
This is the biggest leak of the week.
I can't believe it.
Hawthorn West Coast, and it was a great game, and I was privileged to be there. But at the end of the game, the Hawthorn side nearly got fined for being 20 minutes late to a press conference because they were in the rooms singing Daryl Braithwaite's Horses. I know, it sounds crazy, but as a celebration.
Of course.
And putting that particular song to one side, that is why you play football.
Can I
so
just...
get with your mates, put your arms around each other and start singing together.
In the nude.
Okay. Once again, Andy, you've gone too far. You really. But you know what I mean.
I know exactly
that is what you're after.
I know exactly.
Something to be said. Horses,
you...
Daryl Braithwaite.
Well, I was going to say, you put the song to a side for a second. I'd like to quickly bring it back.
Okay.
Well, one is, Rise was a very good album. Right? We should never forget that. But when you think of Daryl Braithwaite's Horses, this is what should never be forgotten. This is an outrage. Right. Daryl Braithwaite sang Horses, but there was a female vocalist who had a part in the song, right? Yeah. Margaret Earledge.
Right.
And hello, Margaret, if you're watching too. I know she loves the show.
Where are you going?
Well, I'm saying that when the film clip came out, the music video, Margaret Earledge wasn't in it. They went with a model lip-syncing.
No, not just a...
Did they keep the horses?
Not just a model.
Tell me they kept the horses.
Oh, the horses were lucky to be in it. I mean, Braithwaite.
I had a moment with her in the Harold Holt pool. Just the two of us.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, there was no...
Did she try to drown you?
But you know what? There is something to be said, and let's be honest, after a good show, we like to celebrate by getting together and having a sing-along.
Of course we do.
I remember Ep 3 was a particularly good show. Remember that? We had a great sing-along after that.
Hello! Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your heart. There's something in my inside me.
Yeah.
I really hope we don't have any more good shows.
Another big week down at your footy. What happened at your footy club yesterday? There's some fire at the joint.
It's a fire. Black Thursday, I call it. Yeah, there was a big fire down at Richmond and some towels that were used after training may have had some massage oil on them. And they caught fire. They put the stuff out the front of the club with some jumpers and guess what? They got looted. Well done, Tigers. So, I believe police are looking for this guy. Up there.
They had to put out the front. They also put out Sean Hampson out in the front as well. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, the jumpers were taken. Sean Hampson was left behind. Fire wasn't the only story down at Richmond during the week. You come off that magnificent win against the Hawks. You get poleaxed by Adelaide. And the captain gets put through a grilling by the media talking about whether this is just more of the same from the Tigers.
Is it too simplistic to say this is just the Richmond way, it's typical Richmond, which is what some of your fans are saying?
Some of our fans or the media, I'm not sure, but typical Richmond, I don't even know what that means.
Well, maybe we can help him explain.
Well, there's no bigger fan than you of the Richmond club. You've been following for so long.
I
Typical Richmond.
don't do this.
Koch doesn't know what it is. We'll throw some things at you, and you can just say typical Richmond or not typical Richmond.
Yep, fire away.
All right. Your captain wins a toss and kicks into a 6-goal breeze in a final. Typical or not typical?
This is not typical.
Okay. Richmond worked their way into a final series and then get beaten by a side that actually finished 9th that year. Typical or untypical?
It's not typical, Andy.
Okay, right.
Not typical.
Buddy Franklin is available to be selected, and you choose Richard Tambling.
Not typical, mate.
Okay, not typical. You say not typical.
No.
You could have taken Matthew Pavlich, but you take Aaron Fiora.
Fiora was good. Not typical. Fiora was good for us.
What about this one? Losing a game to a kick after the siren by a rugby league player. Typical or not typical?
Not typical, mate.
Okay.
I got one more. Danny Frawley. In his last game, he's the only coach in the last 20 years that has coached you to a preliminary final. For his last game, as he's walking down the tunnel, he gets booed and spat on. Typical or not typical?
Typical, and that was me. But you have to be in my position when that occurred.
Hey, does something need to be done about goalpost safety in the AFL? That was a wretched
What are you
weekend.
talking about?
Did you see what happened up at the Q Clash during the week?
No one saw what happened at the Bang! Oh, there you go.
I don't think that was the only one.
Your former bloke, Lukey McGuan, this is even
That
worse.
doesn't look good.
Oh.
Bang! Andy, the goalpost has featured prominently in highlights over many years in the VFL stroke AFL. Remember Percy Jones?
Oh, yes.
Percy, this is one of my favourite bits of archival footage of all time. Now, there you go, bang, what could go wrong? Oh. He's kicked the goalpost.
That was in the Army Reserve.
Army Reserve. You know,
No!
how impressive is that to kick 1-1 with one kick? That man's a genius.
That was pretty good. Now, do you remember Lee Matthews? This is
this is a great.
That is one for the ages.
There.
Boundary umpires pulled up sore.
Just watching that.
There it is. And my favourite, and Andy, you could probably illuminate us on this because you were here that night. This is out at Waverley. Yeah. The lights went out.
The first thing, as soon as the lights go out at a footy ground, what's the first thing that springs to mind? I'm going to grab that goalpost. Seems very natural.
There was a bonfire? Did they have a bonfire?
Bonfire, mate. The whole grandstand was alight.
That's good crowd involvement. They all like that these days.
Fan engagement.
Fan engagement.
It was anything terrifying. There was fires out in the middle of Waverley that night.
You were there. Did you do a live cross?
Yeah, we did. And we actually put the light on to do the cross out in the middle of it. And within 1 second, the light goes on, and all the lunatics around the ground go, "Light!" And they just barge. They're grabbing me around the neck and they're pulling me to the ground and bashing me.
It's been a long time, but can I just say now, I'm sorry I did that. But I couldn't see.
Goal line activity was in the news this week.
But what about?
The goal line review, the Alex Fasolo and Carlton.
It won't go away.
Well, crucial time of the game, was this ball touched by Ben Reid or not, was the goal line dispute. But Alex Fasolo clearly throws that ball.
It's like a rugby line out.
It is. If a breach of the rules is so obvious, like it was with Fasolo, should that become part of the goal line review?
But is it part of their brief?
It's
I mean,
not.
how
It's
far
not part
back
of their
can you go in play before the goal is kicked
Well,
to review it?
that is a good question. That's been a question raised when you raised this.
Is this too far back? Here you go. You remember this famous moment, going 51 and touched.
Definitely touched.
Is that touched?
Definitely touched. Changed the course of that game.
Did he touch it? He marked it.
It was definitely touched. We need more umpires.
Now, are you talking about the Q Clash where they trialled 4 umpires for the first time ever? Now, have a look at this. This is pre-game. Wow.
Hang on. Wait on. Here come the other two.
That is like a team. Here they come. They should be running through a banner.
So do we know if it worked or not, mate?
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch it. But apparently...
Been some cracking games to look forward to in
Is there
round
ever?
20. Friday night, Sydney Collingwood. That's going to Geelong Hawthorn Saturday night. That's going to be massive.
They're always good games.
Because Freo West Coast. I mean, this is a huge game for the West Coast.
Mate, so this is going to be massive, especially over there. It is the Derby stroke Derby, and they love it. And can I say, we've been getting some feedback on social media that says we haven't been giving them enough love over there, and we haven't been getting excited enough about the Derby. And you know what? We should get excited. We should get as excited as the Fremantle coach, Ross Lyon.
The all-time head-to-head record with West Coast, you could draw level if you win this derby? Does that mean anything?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
As I said, we should get just as excited.
How can you not get caught up?
He is a live wire. That's how you promote a game, right there.
I am genuinely excited about this game. This game has got everything. It's 1 versus 2.
Yep.
Both teams in form, possibly a grand final preview.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this game is missing just one thing. Dale Kickett. If Dale Kickett was playing, I would fly over there and watch this game.
And you know what you get? 36 weeks for this.
Back in 2000, he got a free kick against and a 15-metre penalty.
We don't glorify violence, and we've moved on.
That was a long time ago,
Yeah,
and that's
but-
why you can look at it through the prism of history.
It's a very good point. Excellent, I like that. Hey, Sydney v Collingwood's the other game. We've glossed over this. Sydney are outside the top 4 now. They're sliding. No Budwar. He's not playing this week again.
No.
They're in a bit of trouble this morning.
I'll tell you what, I reckon Lewis Jetta might struggle to kick a goal because he won't want to. After this goal celebration last week, that nearly started a bushfire. That is... Have a look at that. Mental note, don't kick another goal. That hurt. Richmond Gold Coast, this will be, Richmond will reassert their authority on the competition this week.
Imagine if Gold Coast beat you.
Well, they won't. Well, they might if Rodney E gets fired up. Did you see the spray he gave at halftime last week? Have a look at this. This is old school, as we like to say, and he has gone berserk. Have a look at the guys in the background. They are so frightened. I don't know where to look.
But how good is this to see, mate? Forget the kid gloves and personality management, mate. He's old school.
He wasn't done, though. He was
Have a
looking for
look.
anyone on the way out.
Anyone.
Hang on, I might be finished.
And
Oh, no.
no, he's still on the prowl. They've copped a drive-by. And here he is on the way out. Have a look at the guy. I'll leave first. Oh, no, he's tailing me. I better get back in there.
Get out. Wasn't that great to see?
Yeah, it was good to
fantastic.
see.
Sure, he was in the wrong rooms, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He's still got out what he wanted to say.
Tigers will win this weekend.
Well,
and, that's the thing that
It'd
matters.
be
You're
just-
lucky because Carmichael Hunt's not playing.
Do you know what? I was in this very pub watching that game when this happened, right? And this pub is full of Richmond supporters. That happens, and there is silence, and that phone starts ringing, and the barman goes and gets it. He goes, Mick, it's for you. And it was one of my friends laughing his tits off. And that happened for the next half hour. Every time the phone would go.
Nicky. That's it for another episode of the Friday Front Bar here at the All Nations Hotel.
Well
Great to have you with us. Thanks to the Brewery Fresh.
Thank you.
Carlton Draft.
There you go. Good show, boys.
Yeah, well
That
done.
was a good show,
We
wasn't
should
it?
celebrate.
Have a little single. What do you
Hey,
reckon?
tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell us what you want, what you really, really want.
If you want to be my lover. Oh, well, that's it, isn't it?